Bulldogs fans, rejoice! You are back in the standings after an impressive win on Friday Night Football. Getting into the game, look, it was another game for the Western Bulldogs that just felt like they just had to find a way to win because realistically, if they had lost this game, it realistically was season.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, it's just the Dogs had to find a way to win that game of football. That's why, for going into it, and that's what the general opinion was going into it. And I thought that their season was done if they just couldn't find a way to win this with the amount of injuries Collingwood has. I feel like their performance, I'll get a little bit more into this later, but I feel like Collingwood's performance has been, I thought they performed as well as they could last night with all the injuries they had. Their luck at the moment has just been disgusting, and they aren't playing bad. Their system's still holding up. It's just stuff that's out of their control that I think is hampering them now this season. Obviously, I'll get into it more. They actually started off the game really well, Collingwood, kicking 3 of the first 4 goals, and that was when you were thinking, this is going to be terrible dog collapse, isn't it? Which was really worrying to see. But then after that, the Dogs I think sprung to life right at the end of the quarter. I thought at the beginning of the quarter their defense looked really out of sorts, and I thought they really were struggling with their defense. But they definitely fixed it and were able to get it back on track by the end of the quarter, which would be the end of the game. When it comes to overall matchups, I actually thought that Collingwood won the midfield battle, which was a bit worrying for the Dogs, but I think the matchup that ultimately came into factor, especially at the end of the fourth quarter, was the Collingwood defenders on the Bulldogs scoreline, as the Bulldogs just had way too many tools for the Pies defenders to be able to deal with, and Darcy Moore can't be everywhere on the ground at every point, and you could really tell that they were struggling with defenders. Even though Sam Darcy may be having a bit of a holiday for that hit on Maynard. Overall, for the second and third quarter, the game was super tight, and it was you could not tell who was going to win, as it just both teams were taking their strikes at any point. I thought Collingwood could have used their momentum better a bit earlier in the game. They kicked 5-8 to begin, and I thought that really came back to bite them at the end of the game. But ultimately, things really, I think got a bit worrying for the Dogs in the end of the third quarter, when Lachie Schultz kicked his third of the game, and that put Collingwood up by 11 heading into the fourth. And you could tell in the huddle that they wanted to make a statement about this. They did not want to go down like this. And yeah, how Bevo was acting with them was so he was clearly spraying them. In my opinion, he was telling them how important this game was and how much they seriously needed this game. So yeah, and I thought the Dogs responded really well in the fourth quarter. I thought their tools came up to a factor. I thought they really started dominating Collingwood, even out of the midfield. And overall, it was the kind of performance in the fourth they needed to get a really, really crucial win. And another factor that I thought was massive in the fourth quarter that led to them being able to win in this way was how Marcus Bontempelli performed. Yesterday, in last night's video, we talked about how strong Patrick Cripps was in the fourth quarter at Adelaide Oval, and it was the same last night with Marcus Bontempelli in the fourth quarter. He was just so strong. He put the team on his back and said, boys, we're going to get this win. We are winning this game of football. And it was the bot can have these performances that remind you just how amazing of a player and why he's easily a top 5 player in the competition, and this was another one of them on Friday night. I also thought the win was big for the Bulldogs because, like, they've had a case this year where they, like, lose so many games that they're supposed to win. Think about the Hawthorn game. They were supposed to win that, they lost. Essendon game. Essendon were coming off getting absolutely thumped the previous week, and they ended up getting absolutely thumped by themselves. But to win a game that they are supposed to win, as they were supposed to win this with all the Collingwood injuries, is absolutely massive. And I think this gives them a lot more of a mental stead heading into the second half of the season. Like, this and the Giants game, I think are 2 games you could look back and be like, that could be where the Dogs got rolling. That really could be. Could be where the hot dogs really started to show. And they've got players to come back. Aaron Norton will eventually come back. Cody Waitman was missing. So, yeah, really strong poised for the Western Bulldogs. And I thought that was a massive win for them to get. Quick minute on Collingwood. I'm giving them a mulligan for this. And I don't normally give a mulligan, but they deserve a mulligan for this. They had 15 players out via injury. And, like, I think they've done so well the last few weeks to try and sustain the toll and try and, like, fight back the toll of this injury list. But I think Scott Pendlebury going out, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was really too much for them to handle. And I think in the 4th quarter, I think it finally came to them. Like, Craig McRae's done so well to, like, combat this injury list, but it comes at a time where, like, eventually you're going to have to suffice due to it, which I feel like they did. So, overall, I feel like Collingwood, for the next few weeks, what they're going to have to do is that they're just going to have to stay afloat. They've got a really hard game up next against Melbourne on King's Birthday, the big freeze. And then they've gone to North Melbourne. I think for the next month, until they get guys like Myercheck, Elliott, Cox, Goey back, they've really got to just stay afloat. Stay afloat and not lose too much gap in the 8. And just be within the 6-7 range when those guys get back, and then you can hit up the ladder from there. That's what I think Collingwood's perspective has to be. Don't be perfect, because you're not going to be perfect with these injuries, but just stay afloat. Don't let the season get away with all these guys out. Overall, Western Bulldogs have 3 games at Marvel Stadium in a row against Brisbane, North Freo and North Melbourne, which they'll go into favourites. So real chance to hit the 8 and real chance to out their season.